Good morning, students. In the beginning of this chapter, we have studied that heat energy always flows from a body at higher temperature to body at lower temperature when they are physically contact. But how does this heat energy flows from one body to another? So in this video, we will be study about how heat energy transfer from one body to another. So today's topic is transfer of heat. Heat energy can be transferred in three ways: conduction, convection and radiation. In today's video, we will be study about conduction. So what is conduction? Conduction is the process of transfer of heat energy in solids from one molecule to another without the actual movement of the molecules. So when heat energy transfer in solid, that is known as conduction. And in solids, we all know that molecules are tightly packed and they are not free to move, but they are free to vibrate. So when one part of the solids is heated, the molecules are start vibrating, and each molecule share their energy. Means each molecules transfer the heat energy to its adjacent molecules. Now let's take an example. As you can see in the picture, there is a metal spoon which is placed on a flame. Okay, and this part of the spoon is placed on this flame, and this part is heated, right? But after some time, the other part of the spoon is also heated. Why? Because the molecules in this part of the spoon start vibrating when they are heated, and each molecule transfer heat energy to its adjacent molecules. This is how the heat energy transfer in solids. Okay, now let's see an activity to understand how heat gets transferred in solids.
Conduction. In this module, you will learn how heat is transferred by the process of conduction. Bet you have seen food being cooked in a pan. When a pan is placed over a burner, the contents of the pan become hot. Why? This is because heat flows or gets transferred from the burner to the pan. The flow of heat through a solid is known as conduction. Let us try to understand conduction with the help of a simple activity. For the activity, you need an iron rod, a stand, some iron nails, a candle, and melted wax. Now fix the iron rod on the stand as shown. Then dip the head of the iron nails in the melted wax and stick them at equal distances on the iron rod. Then light the candle and place it at the other end of the rod. Wait for a while. What do you observe after a while? The nail closest to the candle will fall off the rod first, then the next nail, and so on. Thus, heat energy gets transferred from a hotter region to a colder region. But how does heat transfer occur? When a solid is heated, the molecules at the heated end start vibrating and transfer the energy to the next molecule. Thus, heat energy spreads uniformly throughout the rod. During conduction in a solid, heat is transferred along the body of the solid from one particle to another without the movement of the particles. Hence, conduction is defined as the flow of heat through a solid without the actual movement of the solid.
Now we'll study about conductors and insulator. So what is conductors? Substances that allow heat energy to flow through them easily are called good conductors of heat, or we can say thermal conductors. So conductor means the substances which allow heat energy to flow through them easily. For example, copper, silver, aluminium, gold, iron, etc. Or you can say all metals. All metals are good conductors of heat. Next, insulator. This is just the opposite of conductors. Substances that do not allow heat energy to flow through them easily are called bad conductors of heat, or thermal insulator. Okay. So the examples of insulator are wood, plastic, water, etc. Wood or all liquids, or you can say all liquid except mercury are also bad conductors of heat. Air is also a bad conductors of heat. Next, some applications of conductors and insulators. Handles of cooking vessels and kettles are made up of insulators such as plastic. Why? Because the plastics, I have already told you that plastic is bad conductors of heat. Okay, so heat energy cannot be flow through the plastic easily. So we can hold the vessels, cooking vessels or kettle safely. Next, cooking vessels are made up of metals. Why? Because metal is good conductors of heat. Okay, so when they are heated, they can easily absorb the heat energy. This is heat. They can easily absorb heat and transfer it to the food being cooked. Next, quilts, blankets and woolen clothes keeps us warm in winter because they trap air in between our body and themselves. When you wear a sweater or jacket, or in winter we feel warm. Why? Because the sweater or jacket or the blankets, they actually trap the air in between our body and themselves. Okay, and air is bad conductors of heat. Okay, and that air does not allow heat from our body to escape to the surrounding, and we and we stay warm in winter. Okay, now today's homework: differentiate between thermal conductors and insulator. If you have any doubts, you can ask me through my WhatsApp. My number is 9439882525. This much for today. Thank you, students. Have a great day.